your impression about Tyrod's kind of handled this situation? Obviously, you knew he was a vet who can. I assume there was a confidence that he could just kind of not be overwhelmed by the situation.
Yeah, no, I think I've said it since we've had Tyrod last year. He's a true pro, does everything you've asked, always prepares the right way. Loved having him in the room from day one, and just can't say enough good things about him.
How do you think he helps the offensive line? Because him coming in has kind of stabilized things up there. Is it the slipperiness that he has in the pocket? Does he buy them more time?
No, I think you got to give those guys credit. They've done a good job playing and battling. They've worked hard. Done a good job the last couple of weeks of kind of solidifying themselves.
What's the communication been like between you and Bobby with the constantly changing line? What does that look like?
Between me and Bobby Johnson?
Yeah,
regardless of what's going on in there, the O-line coach and the quarterback coach are always in constant communication, just protections and all that. So regardless of how that's shaken out, I think, me and Bobby have worked together for a long time. I think it's year 5 now, so we have good conversations no matter what's going on in the week.
So if this was Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones, there would be a question, who has the better quarterback? But it's not. It's Tyrod Taylor versus Zach Wilson. In your mind, who has the better quarterback?
No, Dad. I don't think we're just trying to go out there and get a win, no matter who's playing. You never want to make it about one guy versus the other. Thing I always say with that is quarterbacks don't play each other. The teams do. So just go out there. They got a really good team, really good defense. And that's what we're kind of focused on. So go out there and try and go down and make good decisions and lead our team to points.
Would you be confident against Tyrod against anybody, though?
Yeah, I'd be confident in any of our guys that we put out there. Got a good group of guys. They all work hard. Got no issues with anybody we're going to put out there.
What's been your impression about Dave's, handled this season so far compared to last year at this time? Obviously got off to the fast start. What's his demeanor like been with you guys? Just how has he approached all this?
Yeah, the thing that I know about him going back to our first year together at Alabama is he doesn't change. He is who he is. He's not going to change that. He's going to be who he is. And me being with him for so long, I kind of already, I know what's coming with him. And there's not a better guy you want leading the team.
Because he never changes with us. I was curious. Behind closed doors.
It doesn't change. He is as consistent as it gets. He's going to be who he is. He's the same guy he was when I met him when he interviewed the first day at Alabama till now. Doesn't change his leadership style, what he expects. He's very upfront and honest about everything he wants. He's done that since day one.
How much more involved has he gotten in the offense during these last 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, he's always been involved since we got here, with meetings, with the players, position meetings. He's been in all meetings from special teams to defense to offense, so that hasn't really changed.
No noticeable uptick.
No, I mean he's around. Dave loves football, and he loves talking about all aspects of football. So he's been involved in everything since he's been here, just like a head coach should.
Did he become more demanding as the situation became urgent at all?
Like I said to that last week, he's always been demanding. Always. That's the number one thing that I noticed from him from the jump when I got around him. It was probably his first day on the job at Alabama, and he's teaching us how things he wants to go. And I was actually the first one who kind of answered your question, kind of screwed up, and he snapped right on me and, no, it's this. That's what I want. So from day one, he's been demanding. He hasn't changed in that regard as far as, what's going on and all that. He's always going to demand the best of us.
Mike, I've talked to both Wandale and Jalen. Wandale talking about last year, especially when he came in early and met with you, and Jalen now finds that so helpful to him.
Right.
With both of them, if you can group them or if you'd rather handle them individually,
right.
What was your goal? What is your goal when you bring them in for almost like what I'm sensing is like a one-on-one
right.
situation?
Right. There is a lot of one-on-one time,
okay.
But the goal for them isn't any different than it is for all of them. It's to know what to do, how we're doing it, mm-hmm. and why we're doing it that way. And another way to say that would be alignment, assignment, any adjustment that they might have on a particular play, and then what's the key technique. So there's a lot of talking through of how to do things, but also making sure they know what to do first before we're talking about how to do things. So there's a natural teach progression there.
My perception in talking to Jalen, he takes pride in the fact that he wants to be able to play all 3 receiver positions and believes that he can.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that?
That doesn't make him any different than any other receiver.
Okay.
They all think
Okay.
and want to be able to do that. So that's pretty normal in
Okay.
terms of receivers' DNA.
Okay.
I think that's a progression for all the guys. And then it's fitting. It's fitting guys into the spots where we think that they perform the best. And putting it all together. Yeah.
Where do you view Jalen in his rookie progression? Like, is he still at is it still the beginning? Have you seen substantial
Yeah,
growth? Is he
I think
significantly?
we've seen some very positive things from him, and a lot of being a rookie is gaining that confidence, and confidence is a result of demonstrated performance. So you got to get out there, you got to perform when your number's called or the ball comes to you. You got to make those plays, and you keep stacking good plays on top of one another. Then there's where that confidence really grows, and then it goes back to the foundation of what, how, and why.
So you're seeing that confidence
I
from him?
am,
Because he was actually telling me, even when he wasn't getting it, like, it's going to come, it's coming soon, it's coming soon.
He's been putting in the work. I mean, there are no shortcuts in this league. There's no way to cut corners, and you gotta put a lot of time in. Not only when you're required to be here, but a lot of time on your own, and sacrifice personal time and things that might be more fun, but understand the big picture. And I think he's done a really good job with that, as Wandell, and I think our guys as a whole, as a group, really do a good job with that.
They both mentioned to me that you being a former quarterback, they believe helps you maybe in communication or just the way you break things down. Does that make sense to you? That's kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I see it through the lens of a quarterback for sure. I'd like to think, even though I never ran routes, Cam, but that after all these years, I picture myself being, how I would do things if I would do it, but I'd probably get locked up pretty quickly. But I do try to explain things through the quarterback's lens, because if they understand what they're seeing, right, then they're more quarterback friendly, and if the quarterback trusts you, you get more balls. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand there.
The fact that the two of them seem to be close and compare notes and everything else, that can only be healthy, right? I mean, I would think for 2 young receivers
Yeah, we
in
just
this
try to
league,
build our room. We try to share information in our room, and I'm constantly asking questions of the players. I don't stand up and lecture. It's not a lecture. It's constantly exchanging dialogue with guys, asking them, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? What'd you see here? Okay, well, what about if you tried it this way? Or, hey, would you, ask another guy, would you see it the same way, or would you have done any differently here? And get feedback and try to use veterans that have a resume and experience, and use those guys as tools and assets as well.
What'd you think of Jalen's catch that was reviewed, but he said he knew he was in?
He said he knew?
He said he knew.
Okay.
Is that revisionist history?
Yeah, he was out there on the field, so I don't know what he was saying on the field, but no, it was a heck of a play. Made really 2 really good catches down the sideline in tight coverage for us, and those are the kinds of things that he was brought here to do, so it's good to see him doing it. And I think you make a couple plays like that in a game. Again, the next game, you hope that you see the carryover and the confidence level there, and I think his preparation's been really good this week.
What did you make of him against Sauce? Like, remember that preseason game, and it was on Hard Knocks and everything, and
I didn't see any of the television footage from it on the show.
Well, they showed him basically getting open deep, and it's, Sauce like kind of being like, "Hey, why are you even throwing at me?" So, did that say anything to you that he was able to, create that kind of separation against a cornerback like that, to be able to see that and verify what I think you guys probably already knew?
Yeah, we've got a lot of respect for Sauce, DJ, and their defense, as a whole. So, but I thought he did a good job with that route, and We'll see. It'll be an interesting competition on Sunday.
You allowed to go to the O-line dinners or no?
They invite me, but a lot of times we're still working when they go. So I'm glad they're doing them. I think it's important. I think it's a big deal. So.
Do you see steps that the line has taken, maybe in different areas, including with Justin Pugh joining?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen some strides. I mean, I think he mentioned something, might have been last week, about the over-communicating. I see a lot of a heightened sense of urgency. I see it in their play. I see it in their communication. I think they want everything to be clear, and I've encouraged it because, obviously we've had a lot of transition. I think when you have new guys in there, maybe some guys, different lineups, different guys playing different spots, I think that only helps guys maybe lessen the learning curve or maybe get familiar with one another quicker. So I've been encouraging it. I've been pushing it. And I think even the guys who were here before, a guy like Marcus McKeithen, who's a young guy, really that's kind of helped him kind of get on the same page and see things. So I've seen progress in a lot of areas, but that's one that's really jumped out at me.
Where do you see, I guess, the effects of that over communication when in the game time?
I see what I see is I see guys really, especially like pass protection. I see the over communication really showing in how they're maybe picking up games or things of that nature because they're communicating, over communicating who they're going to and what's kind of happening. So they're kind of seeing some things before they happen, which is good. So I mean, we really stress that in the meeting room. I'm starting to see it, on the field in practice and in games. So I like the progress we're making. I mean, I know that some people see it as, hey, the lineup changes this, and some of it's been by pure necessity, So I've told that from the very beginning, like, hey, things are going to happen in the course of a season, injuries, things of that nature. It's all happened, all right, and nobody cares about it. You just got to put guys out there that can get the job done, and I think that's where we're constantly working toward as, me as a coach, those guys as players. So I think we're progressing the right way.
What do you make of Mark Polinsky's progress so far?
Mark's been nothing but a pro, and I can't believe I just said Mark, because if I call him Mark in a meeting, he looks like, who are you talking to? All right, because he answers to Glow. He and I go way back, and he's been nothing but professional. Obviously, he had a rough first game, and I told him what I expected from him, what he needed to do, and he's done nothing but push himself to the limit to do those things. So I think that's just a testament to him as a person, as a pro, his character. He's been nothing but a positive in the room, even when things weren't going his way. So, I mean, I know a lot of guys, not only in our room, but on the team, have a lot of respect for him.
Dave's mentioned his attention in practice, or he's had really strong practices the last couple of weeks. What have you seen from him in those practices? I
just see a heightened level of urgency. I mean, he practices really fast. That's what I noticed. I mean, he's doing everything at 1,000 miles per hour. He's talking fast. He's moving fast. He's communicating fast. His eyes are fast. His feet are fast. So, I mean, if you could see him after a walkthrough, the group is drenched. They're pushing the envelope, and he's leading that by going, hey, if I want to play again, I got to do everything better than everybody else. And I think he's pushing the guys around him to do so. Yeah. What else we got? Anything?
Yes.
Okay.
How did Dable running the offensive meetings impact your routine and process coaching the offensive line?
It really didn't change. I mean, I'm used to it. I mean, I've been 3 years before. I mean, he's always had input. He's always been in meetings. I think maybe there's some things that he would, at times in the past, would address with certain position groups. He just did it again. So for me, it didn't change my routine. I still did the same thing. I still coached the same guys. I still made the same coaching points. If anything, it reinforced some things, you know what I mean, what we're looking for. So it wasn't a big change. And he had been doing it before. I think maybe just there's more attention to it right now, that's all.
So you view it as a help that he would drill down to, let's say, even technique on specific plays?
Yeah, I mean, that's always good when whether it be the head coach, the coordinator, whomever, makes an emphasis. All it does is reinforce what you're coaching as a position coach. And to be honest with you, with my guys, they treated it the same. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, now we have to listen to it. It was just the fact of, hey, it was just it's a focal point. I think players, if they're professionals, they always want more detail. They always want to perform at the highest level. That's why they're professionals. So I think the more detail they can get, they'll take it. The more coaching points they can get, they'll take it. That's part of being a pro. I think that's a guy. If a guy doesn't want that, I don't know how much better they want to get. You know what I mean? And that goes for coaches and players. I have no problem with any of that stuff. We all want to try to be the best we can be. We'll take anything we can get to help us do that.
Now, you had a guy like you come in the middle of the season and immediately become the leader of a group like that?
Yeah, I think I view it more as he came in and he fit in. You know, I think every guy brings something different to a room. Every guy has their own strengths and weaknesses. I think his was he's a veteran. He's an 11-year vet. He immediately became the most veteran guy in the room, and I think he just started sharing his experiences. You know, hey, try this, do this. You know, it wasn't like he came in and like, I'm the boss and I'm running things. I think it was just he shared his strengths. He shared his experience. And I think younger guys inherently listen to older guys. So I think I've had that. It was good to have another veteran guy in the room to share some experiences, some play experience.
What has Dave's demeanor been like this year relative to last year? The hot start, this year the slow start. Has there been anything different in how he is?
When he talks to you, he always talks about he's going to be himself. I don't think he's strayed away from that at all. He's been himself. There has really been no difference, in how he does his day-to-day business, winning or losing. You know what I mean? I think we all are we all prefer to win over lose. So, there's those natural things as, competitors. But, he hasn't carried himself any differently.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. I know Ashawn was back more in the mix last week, but what was with the dip there, those 2 games where he didn't play very much?
It just comes down to personnel, the personnel groupings that we're playing at that time, So he's got a role that plays in certain personnel groupings, and some teams that you don't play a lot of those personnel groupings. So it was nothing against him. It was just the 2 teams that we played back to back just didn't play those kind of personnels where he would be on the field that much.
Seems like he's in there a lot when you have 3 D-line on the field, more so than when there's 2. Is there something about his skill set that lends itself better to that? Or?
Well, no, that's not really about whether there's 3 or 2 out there. It's more about when they get big, we get big. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so he's a big, strong, physical guy, and so that's why he's been our 3rd guy to go in there. When we want to get big.
How much of a change for Leo when he has to bump outside, play like almost more of a DN position?
He's played that over his career, and he's comfortable doing that. So it's not a big change for him to do that. And Ashawn does a little bit of that for us too.
So you started the peanut butter chant that you guys do on Fridays? You started the peanut butter chant? What's the origin of that?
It's kind of happened a long time ago. I'm old school. I love real singing and real music. And so we're standing out there one day, and they got all the rap songs going, and the guys came around me, and I was like, that's not real music. And they go, what do you mean it's not real music? Well, all you got to do is find somebody with a beat, and you can make a hit song with anything, right? And then it became a challenge. It's like, okay, we'll do it. Well, then it just popped in my head, and I said it, and it's kind of grown from there.
Yeah. We heard it the other because we were indoors, so we heard it, and we were like, "Are they saying peanut butter and jelly?"
So it kind of I did it, and they started laughing, and they loved it, and so then the next week it was like, "Come on, we got to do it again, Dre." So it's kind of been the thing.
How much will the pick reinforce and add to the confidence of Banks, do you think? Does that first pick do something for a DB?
I hope. You hope that feeling of getting the pick and we scoring off of it and the momentum it had for us. You hope that that he likes that feeling, like any first time. You hope it's memorable for him, and that he wants to do it again at a high level. You hope he has now a drive to go get the ball and find the ball. I tell him all the time, don't be the guy, for me, that is happy to get incompletions. Like, let's go take that next step and get the ball. And I, guys in the room pick on him too, because, every time he gets an incompletion, he does that. Forget that, let's do this. let's do this and go that way with it, because I think he has the ability to do that. And if he didn't, I'd be happy with that. But he has the ability to do more, so I want him to do more, and hopefully that first time shows him that, gosh, I really can go get the ball and change the game, and hopefully, again, he's driven to do that more at a high level.
How do you feel McKinney playing really solid. You know, doing like not making probably as many splash plays with the interceptions and stuff like that, but like the tackles he makes that keeps the ball in front for us, the things he does and allows our defense to do with his versatility is unbelievable, and I think he's playing well.
Have you seen Tay's confidence, or what have you seen from him this week after that?
You know, he's really the same. That's the one thing about Tay. You know, he has a demeanor that, like, I don't ever worry about him going to a game and him having a feeling about him that it's too big for him. I don't ever worry about him competing. That those aren't the things that he deals with. You know, the things that we work on are just the attention to detail, of being locked in every play and not to have a play where I relax for a moment, because at the position he plays, you relax for one moment and you play one thing wrong, you give up a big play. Like even on the one the other day, you know, he's stopping and arguing with the official, and I'm like, get the guy, tag him. Like, those are the things with Tay, those lessons that I work on and worry about more than him competing or it being too big for him or anything like that.
How is he, like, I guess that attention to detail, how is that increased or grown?
Oh, it's growing.
The course of the season?
Yeah, it's growing with him and with Trey, with Flott, with all those young players. Every week they take a step and you know, and then they touch the stove and it's hot, and you try to tell them, hey, don't touch the stove. See, I told you it was hot, but now you know. But they're all competing really hard and doing a good job.
What have you seen from Trey? I mean, kind of less snaps for a few weeks.
Yeah,
had
you
to
know,
come back
like there was times where we were matching up and matching Adoree and Flott and moving Adoree and Flott allowed us to do that, so he played more. And my conversation with Trey was, your mentality has to be, all right, the team is doing what they think's best, but I'm still the best guy and I should be playing. And then I've quite frankly told Flott, your mentality has to be, when I get in, I'm never getting out. And I told them that in front of each other, and that's the mentality we need to have in our room and the way we got to approach it. And then at the same time, we got to be great teammates to each other and help each other. But we have to have a mentality that when I'm in there, I'm the guy. And if I'm not in there, I should be in there because I'm the guy. And so with Trey, he's kept that mentality that I'm the guy. And when he went back and was the guy, played well.